I apologize. It normally unmutes. I don't know why it did that. I apologize. It normally unmutes itself, so I don't know why I didn't do it that specific time, but let's try this one more time, shall we? Shout out StreamYard, handing out W's every time we get a chance. Dude, StreamYard's going to be my downfall at this point. So let me reset. The 49ers have signed a cornerback, Darquez Dennard, to a one-year deal. The San Francisco 49ers grab some help in the defensive back room in the way of Darquez Dennard. Again, what I was saying was Darquez was with the 49ers last year for a couple games. He was primarily used in special teams, but as we know, the 49ers are hurting for some depth at the cornerback position. So I like the signing. I think, again, 49ers are looking at it from a standpoint of you have a camp body. Not only do you have a camp body, but you have a guy who could be a potential special team standout and someone who could be, just a depth signing. If he can make his way onto the final roster, I don't mind it, especially right now. Of course, the 49ers need to get to 90 men on the overall roster. So they're on their way. They are on their way. So that move just came across right now. Let's see here. Of course, we're going to have some different topics to discuss today. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like that? And again, for reference, this guy was a former first rounder. Darquez was a guy that I did like coming out of, I believe, Michigan State. So it's a depth piece right now. I don't think we'll be looking to have him as an impact, but hey, we need depth. We need a guy who can come in, has had experience in the league. He brings a veteran presence with him, and who knows what he becomes. Because, again, we brought him in last year at the end of the year. So one of the things to keep in mind, it's really hard to get acclimated to a new team when you don't get OTAs, when you don't get training camp, when you're just thrown into the fire like, hey, guess what? We got a game this week, and we're going to need you to play special teams and potentially be a spot starter. So, my goodness, we got some movement. Let's go. The 49ers are continuing to add depth pieces, special teams pieces, and I kind of, again, it's not the splashy moves. It's not the big moves that, everyone wants to see, but we have perfect timing, Sean. Perfect timing. We got to build out that 90-man roster. We have to. We have to have depth. We have to have good quality depth. And, not every signing needs to be a home run. Not every signing needs to be like, oh, boy, who did we get? These kinds of signings, they could turn into something. They could become an impact in the sense of special teams. Hey, we need special teams help. We need special teams help. Could, like Sean saying, could be practice squad guy. Clearly, he made an impression last year, so they brought him back. Hey, I like that. He had an opportunity. He got an actual, real world tryout where he got to come and play some games, get into the locker room. So clearly they like him. So they wouldn't have brought him back if they didn't like him because, hey, I don't see Josh Norman on the roster. I would much rather have this man than Josh Norman. 100%. 100%. So, again, there have been some moves that have been made. We haven't spent a ton of time on them. I can get to them really quick before we get into the meat of the conversation today, and I'm very, very excited that I have an excuse to talk about Brian Burns. You guys have no idea how excited I am to be able to get on this live and just talk about Brian Burns, and we'll get into that in a little bit, and we'll start we'll start galaxy braining scenarios and situations and manifesting. We'll get into all of that, and I'm very excited to do that. You guys have no idea. If you've been with me and rocking with me on Instagram since 2018, then you do know what this means to me. But if you are new to the channel and you are new to vibing with your boy, this is big that I get to come on a 49er channel and talk about Brian Burns in a hypothetical sense, but still, that's a win for me. Just to recap again, some of the moves that have been made. They're bringing back depth piece. We got Darquez Denard today. Yesterday, we had Kerry Hyder Jr. came back on a very, very cheap 1-year deal. That's pretty solid. We got Jeff Wilson back. We got Dante Johnson back. Oh, baby. So, you know, we got some guys into the squad, but, you know, they're not going to be guys. I think I mentioned Jordan Willis, but hey, we got Jordan Willis back. So I like the depth pieces. I like them. Oh, Bob, stick around. Bob said, are we trading for Burns, or is this for a quick click bait? This is not clickbait. This is something that I have been manifesting for the San Francisco 49ers since the 2018 NFL draft. So we'll get into it. Stick around, Bob, and we're gonna work through it all. But it is primarily hypothetical. But it's going to be a fun conversation nonetheless. So the 49ers are making moves, but let's talk about the hypothetical for a second. Let's talk about the potential. Is there potential? Could Brian, again, Wolverine is me since 2018. Wolverine is me since 2018, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a backstory as we start to get into this conversation about Brian Burns. How the hell are we talking about Brian Burns on a dang 49er channel? All right, we'll get into it, though. We're going to get into it. You guys know me, right? You guys know me. If you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile, and they gave me an inch, and so we're running with it. The fact that I can actually hypotheticalize, if that's even a word, I'm so excited. But just so you guys have some background into why I'm so highly motivated by this specific topic, is because in 2018, there was a sliver where I was thinking that the 49ers could potentially trade back from the number 2 overall spot and take this man. This was my plan. I've been manifesting this plan for a long time. A part of that plan in the trade back was also getting OBJ. Well, guess what? In that time of manifestation, the 49ers were actively going after OBJ. I was trying to manifest OBJ. I was trying to manifest Brian Burns. Well, guess what? It's came out that it has indeed been truth that in that time I was manifesting OBJ from the New York Giants when everyone told me, you're an idiot if you think OBJ is getting traded from the New York Giants after he just signed his contract. Dave Gettleman went on to the podium and said, we didn't sign OBJ to trade him. Well, do you know what I said? I said, you're full of crap. You did sign him to trade him, and I want him. So I got roasted. I got raked over the coals by New York Giants fan accounts, people on Twitter, because I'm like, hey, the 49ers should go get OBJ. Everyone, OBJ is not available. Oh, yeah? What happened to OBJ? Huh? What happened? Oh, that's right. He got traded. To the Browns. Not only did he get traded to the Browns were competing against the 49ers. And from everything that we have heard, the 49ers actually had better compensation on the table to get OBJ onto the 49ers. So this manifesting thing, I'm keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm not stopping because I've manifested some things before. Now we've gone close to some real manifestation things, but again, it was up to Dave Gettleman. He didn't want to send OBJ to the 49ers. If Dave Gettleman sent OBJ to the 49ers, OBJ would have thrived. OBJ would have had a great career, but that would make Dave Gettleman look like an idiot. Well, guess what? So where did he send him? He sent OBJ to the Browns for his career to die. Guess what happened? His career died. Guess what happened? OBJ gets released. He goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl because he was able to get out of the Browns situation. So again, just bringing in some context into the situation of my crazy brain and how it works and why I'm going to keep rocking with this thing and why I'm going to keep going. So part of that plan, again, it was OBJ, and everyone told me, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Same with that. I'm being told about Brian Burns. Oh, it's not going to happen. Maybe you're right. You're probably right. If I had to give a percentage chance that the 49ers were somehow going to get Brian Burns on this roster, I would say there's like a 5% chance that happens. But guess what? That 5% chance is enough for me to go all in, baby. Let's go. So, as a result, how do we get to Brian Burns? And all this situation? No sources. You must not know me, my boy. It's all good. Welcome to the channel. Sit down, pull up a seat, get comfortable, and pay attention. You might learn a little something. But hey, go ahead. Go ahead and talk that talk. You must not know me, my guy. It's all good. But anyways, sauces don't lie. Just saying. Just saying. But anyways, per sauces, the 49ers have found themselves in a very, very tough situation. They have found themselves trying to offload Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't really have any destinations. He doesn't really have any spots to go. But when you start to look at available spots, you start to look at the Carolina Panthers. Oh, enter Brian Burns. Okay, we're getting there. So as you have seen, and maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but if you look across Panthers world and you are seeing the way they're talking about the quarterback position, the way I've been tracking them, I've been tracking the Sam Darnold situation. I've been tracking the situation. We're interested in Cam Newton potentially. No, you're not. You're not interested in bringing Cam Newton back because it didn't work last year. Why would it work this year? The only reason you would be bringing in Cam Newton is to posture in the sense of calling someone's bluff, of not necessarily being interested in a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo or wanting to trade for him. Something similar that I really believe the Patriots did last year in regards to the 49ers and calling their bluff when they're trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. So as we continue to move forward and we're starting to kind of watch the situation from a Panthers perspective, the Panthers are not sold on Sam Darnold. They're not sold at all. And if you look at the current climate of the Panthers with Matt Rule, David Tepper, this is their last chance. This is the last chance that regime has to get something headed in the right direction. Because if you get a rookie and that rookie doesn't pan out, they're fired. They're all done. The GM, the head coach, they already fired the offensive coordinator mid-year last year. They're done. So it is important to bring in that context into the conversation that they have to do something that rights the wrongs that they have continued to move down. And there's really no one available. It's been reported. Baker Mayfield, no interest. No interest with Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield even came out and said, well, we're not interested in the Panthers. Not a lot of people are interested in the Panthers for those exact reasons that I've mentioned. There aren't. So as a result, the Panthers are in an equally crappy situation that the 49ers are in. They are stuck in QB purgatory, just like the 49ers are. The problem is the 49ers have two quarterbacks. The Panthers have none. So this is where this kind of manifestation is coming from and why we can maybe start to see a path where the slim chances of the 49ers trading Jimmy Garoppolo to the Panthers, that I believe is a real thing. Because again, look, if you go look, we just found out today that the they're getting wishy-washy on Sam Darnold. They're starting to change their tune on Sam Darnold. Before, in the beginning part of the offseason, Sam Darnold's not it. He's not the guy. We're not moving forward. Everyone knows they're not moving forward with him. But within the last 2 days, their tone has changed. Not only has their tone changed, we've seen reports about how the Panthers front office have been front and center in all these quarterback workouts. They're trying to almost to the point where it's like, you guys trying to make us see that you're interested in draft picks. And this came out from, and this was, I'm repeating a thought process that an athletic journalist that works for the Athletic, covers the Panthers, he wrote this. These are his words. These are his observations, that he thinks that the Panthers are posturing to be interested in a rookie, to be interested in these other quarterbacks, to bring the price down of Jimmy Garoppolo. This is from an athletic reporter. This is from real journalism. That's not from a guy wearing a tinfoil hat. That's from a guy who gets paid to be a journalist and cover the Panthers. Like, that's not me. So he is, and others are conceptualizing that reality that maybe there could be a situation where the Panthers are in fact interested with Jimmy Garoppolo. Aha! We've landed. This is where it all starts. This is where it starts. If they're interested in Jimmy Garoppolo and that is real, and if you're the 49ers front office and you're not like, oh, well, you guys have interest in Jimmy Garoppolo, like you guys would genuinely trade for him, okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to start galaxy braining some potential scenarios, right? And so you know me, I'm off to the races. But again, here is the report from the Athletic writer, Joe Person, who covers the Panthers. And this was, clearly he talked with the GM, Scott Fitter. This is what he wrote in his piece for the Athletic. He said, the Panthers are almost too visible on the QB Pro Days, as if to remind, we're really interested in these QBs as a ploy to get a team to trade up in front of them and push one of the top OTs into their lap, and or to improve their leverage with, say, Jimmy Garoppolo. This is all it took. I didn't need this. I was already down this path before I saw this. So again, I'm already trying to manifest something that is very unlikely to happen. But the Panthers beat saying that the Panthers might be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay. Now you gave me ammunition I didn't need. You gave me ammunition that I didn't need, because now I'm full blown. Get me Brian Burns onto this team immediately. Because if there is a window, that's all you give me a crack. Like, oh, we may be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm bursting through that door like the freaking Kool-Aid man with a million different trade scenarios for Brian Burns. Like, you give me a sliver, like, yeah, we're interested in Jimmy G. I'm like, oh yeah, like, here are all my trades for Brian Burns. Here's how we can do it. Here's multiple assets we'll send you. Like, so that's what I'm saying. If you give me a sliver of hope that Jimmy Garoppolo is an actual trade destination to the Panthers, you better be talking about Brian Burns, John. You better at least be having you better have the stones to at least like throw out something. Like, at least be like, okay, well, we'll give you Jimmy Garoppolo, but we want BB in return. We want BB in return. And guess what they're going to say? They're like, are you kidding me? Brian Burns, one of the best players on our team, one of the best players in the NFL, one of the elite edge rushers in this league. Are you guys smoking that loud out there in the Bay Area? I imagine that's what the Panthers would say. I imagine the Panthers would be like, you know what? You must be on that good stuff out there in the Bay. We're out in Carolina. We don't get that indoor like you guys do. They're like, we don't get that good stuff like we don't. So you guys must be on another level. And I would say you're probably right. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to exhaust every possibility of seeing what I could do to get this man onto the San Francisco 49ers. And so that's how it would start. They would be like, you're freaking insane. You think we're going to give up a young elite pass rusher for Jimmy Garoppolo? You're crazy. And I'd be like, you know what? You're right. I am freaking crazy. I wear a tinfoil hat. What do you expect? Of course I'm crazy. I wear a tinfoil hat while I talk to people about 49ers football. I'm freaking loopy. But let's talk about it. What would it take? Yeah, tell me what it would take. That's how I would start. I'd be like, tell me what you would need to make that happen. And they would be like, we would need Kittle, Debo, 40 first round picks. I'm like, okay, yeah, we can't do that. But we could do this. We could give Jimmy Garoppolo a third, a fifth, a sixth, and a 2023 fourth round pick that's incentivized to be a third or a second rounder, depending on how much Jimmy Garoppolo plays. You give us Brian Burns. They would be like, that's still crazy, but you have my attention now. You have my attention. I don't like it. The Panthers would be like, we're still not trading Brian Burns, but you give us a quarterback. We get a ton of draft picks to continue to build out, a roster that can compete in our division this year. We got a quarterback. Brian Burns, fantastic player. Tons of edge. Maybe we take some of those draft picks. We convert it to an edge player. I'm just saying. He said this is a pipe dream. I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, my guy. I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. This is a pipe dream. I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. I'm literally wearing a tinfoil hat. No crap, it's a pipe dream. No crap. Like, who are you telling? Are you like very astute observation you have there? Hey, getting Trent Williams on the 49ers from Washington, from an organization that Kyle Shanahan absolutely despises, was fired from, pipe dream for a 5th round pick, pipe dream. Getting Trent Williams from Washington to San Francisco to a coach that was fired from Washington and openly disdains Washington, pipe dream. Hey, it happened. It happened. Oh, OBJ getting traded after he signed a mega deal from the Giants. Pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. Is it? Is it? I don't think so. I don't think so. What you think are pipe dreams are reality in the NFL. That's one of the things that I'm realizing. I'm realizing that this crazy crap that we're talking about is more real than you might actually want to wrap your head around. Some of the things that I have heard about potential player movement in the past you would be like, "Oh my goodness. No way." And I'd be like, "Yes way." So, again, is this a pipe dream? Of course. That's why I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. It's 100% why I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. LA Faithful says Eric Armstead, Kinlaw, BB, and Nick. Imagine that. It would be insane. It would be nuts. It would be unfair. It would be unfair. That is the point. If you could somehow get this thing to happen, again, all you need is the sliver. We're interested in Jimmy. How interested are you in Jimmy? How interested are you? What if we said Jimmy, Greenlaw, plus the picks for Burns? Would you do that? What if we said Jimmy, Ambry Thomas, picks? Would you do that? Just give me the window, give me the crack, and if the crack is there that they are interested, I am exploring every option to get him onto this team for this reason. Because I said it yesterday. If this is your defensive line and all 4 of these guys are healthy, a literal potato could be taking snaps underneath center for you next year and you win 11 games. A potato. A freaking potato could be back under center. Do you know why? Because this defensive line, no team would be able to do anything against this defensive line. The speed and pass rush off the edge, combined with the interior presence of run stuffing ability from Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, no one's doing anything. No one's doing anything. You could have a literal potato. You could hand the football off 40 times a game, and you're gonna win. You're gonna win. Potato for QB1 next year if this happens. Potato for QB1 next year if this happens. So I know it's a long shot. The fact that's why I'm so happy that I can even just have a hypothetical conversation about it, because Brian Burns is one of my favorite players in the NFL. Like, he's top 3. He's top 3 in the NFL for me, favorite players. So if you can get him, or you can at least have the conversation, that's all I'm asking for. And if I'm in those negotiations, and let's say I was an assistant or something, or they're like, "Oh, here's the ginger intern Brad. He's gonna sit in on our call, and he's just gonna listen. Don't mind him. He's just the intern." They bring me into the conversation, and I'm just sitting there in the back, and the Panthers GM says, "You know what? We would be interested in having a conversation about getting Brian Burns." I would, poof, like what? Like, excuse me, Jimmy Garoppolo. I apologize. Like the Panthers would be like, we'd be interested in getting Jimmy Garoppolo. I would be like, all right, what does it take to get that guy plus additional things? Additional. So this is funny. This is funny. Oh, not this. This is very realistic. Are you kidding me? How dare you? I like that. The gin turn. Okay, so this is funny. So as a result of kind of 2018, Brian Burns was a prospect that I like. We had the Brian Burns hive. I developed a relationship with both Brian and his brother. Brian's brother was actually a former Panthers player. So his brother has quite a bit of NFL experience. I asked him straight up. I asked him 2 days ago. I said, "Are the Panthers crazy enough to trade Brian Burns?" I asked him straight up. It's like, "Are they crazy enough to trade him? Are they crazy enough to trade your brother?" And he said they would be absolutely insane to trade Brian. And I agree. Of course they would. Of course they would. But he did come back and say, we wouldn't be mad at it. I was like, oh, you should have said that. It's like, you should have said that. You got me too excited. He's like, we wouldn't have been mad. We wouldn't be mad at it. If we got traded to SF, we wouldn't be mad at it. And if you know anything about his brother, he's like the hype man for the Panthers now, all kinds of stuff. So yes, is this a pipe dream? Is the percent chances of it happening very, very slim? 100%. The Panthers would be insane. They would have to be so desperate to make this move. That's why it's an unlikely scenario. That's why it doesn't seem like it would make a lot of sense at all. But I'm keeping the dream alive. I will keep the dang dream alive. And I want to see what you guys think. Do you think a deal like this could get it done? You said Jimmy Garoppolo. I think, the third round pick the 49ers have, a fifth rounder, a sixth rounder, an incentive based pick in next year's draft based on how much Jimmy Garoppolo would play just to get Brian Burns in return. I added on a fourth round pick. I could do away with the fourth round pick. They are on the hot seat. Panthers fan here. We would never trade Burns for that. So what would it take? Ooh, see, I agree. I agree with this. I agree that Burns has that value. 100%. But can we take advantage of their desperation? Can we take advantage of them needing a quarterback and the 49ers throwing assets at them to get Burns somehow back in return? Somehow. I will continue to live this dream on forever. I'm going to continue to speak it into existence. I'm going to continue because it's fun. And I'm tired of talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. So I like this trade. Again, I could add on to this. I could add a Greenlaw onto this. I could take the fourth away from the Panthers, giving it back to us. I could add a lot more to this. I could add a lot more to this to make it worth what the Panthers need in return. I think that's something that could be a potential here. Again. Oh. So this, oh God, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, but no, I wouldn't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That would be too hard. I couldn't do that. I would keep Kittle. I would keep Kittle. But I would try to keep all my top tier guys if I could. But if you could give me, if I could trade away some ascending players, I would do it. I would do it. Burns is a star. I know Burns very well. He was a draft crush of mine coming out of Florida State. 100%. 100%. So I know who Burns is better, maybe more than some Panthers fans. So I recognize this is wild. I recognize it's a long shot. I recognize it is a pipe dream. However, if you give me the sliver, call me the Kool-Aid man, because I'm bursting through that door with every single offer imaginable for Brian Burns. Imaginable. Now, that could lead to a different trade. It could lead to a different kind of domino effect where, okay, maybe they don't land on Brian Burns. Maybe they land on a different player. Maybe they land on a Terrace Marshall. Maybe they land on an Ian Thomas for a tight end 2 situation. Maybe they land, somewhere else because Burns is potentially untouchable. So if Burns is untouchable, okay, that's fine. But I am absolutely doing everything I can to make sure that I'm at least approaching the conversation and exhausting every option. Every option. That's what I'm doing. I'm exhausting every option to see if Brian Burns is available. So if the 49ers have that sliver and they have that window of conversation, then let's do it. I'd do it. Would the Panthers do it? They'd have to be super desperate. Super, super, super desperate to do that. But never say never. It's one of the things that I've learned in the NFL of my time covering is you just never say never. You never say never. I know fans think certain players are untouchable, but you would be surprised if I told you some of the players that have been floated in trades. So you never know. You never know how the Panthers are internalizing this. Great question. How are you going to pay him? Bosa and Debo are going to be the highest paid players at their position. I would imagine Brian Burns is going to be right there under Nick Bosa. So, but this is the thing. Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, same draft class. If he is traded, there is a world exists where you can still extend Bosa first. You play Brian Burns on his rookie deal. You can potentially pick up his 5th-year option. So at the very minimum, you have 2 years of cost-controlled rookie Brian Burns. You could then theoretically slap Brian Burns with the franchise tag if that's what you wanted to do. But you also have to keep in mind, while these years continue to roll, the cap is going to continue to just shoot up. So although like right now, like, oh, how would you pay them right now? If the cap is going to increase 20, 25% over what it is now, there is a world that exists that you can sign Burns to an extension. You can spread out the money and you can make it work. So Hendrick says, you can tell Brad been thinking about this for a while. I dream about this. Like, you guys think the Wolverine meme is a joke? That is me. That's literally me in a Wolverine suit just thinking about BB at night. That's a real thing. I have been thinking about this since 2018. I'm just saying. So that's why they shouldn't have me in the negotiation rooms, because this is all I would be talking about. I'd be like, how do we get this guy? I don't care about anyone else. How do I get Brian Burns on this roster? And if they say this is how, again, All the Panthers have to say, all the Panthers have to say is this is what it would take. If you can get someone to say and kind of get it planted into their brain, well, we could move off him for this, then he becomes tradable. And if you can then take that sliver and push on that harder, future 49er Brian Burns, come on down. Oh, I love that. It's Friday, guys. Remember, it's Friday. Put your swords away. Put your knives away. It's Friday. We're having a blast today. Don't take life too seriously. Would you rather just talk about how we still have Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster? Or could we throw some spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks? I'm more in the boat of I'd rather talk about these crazy hypothetical situations that are likely never to happen than talk about Jimmy Garoppolo still being on this roster. So that's my vibe. You can either vibe with me or you don't have to. You don't have to. But that's my vibe right now. So I'm just, again, if the sliver is open, I'm running through it. I'm bursting through whatever it takes. How does this happen? How do we make it happen? Is it a possibility? Is it not? We'll find out. We will find out. But I'm going to continue. I am going to continue to speak it into existence and get that energy out there because why not? It's a lot more fun than talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, man. So I'm excited. I am excited for probably nothing. For nothing. For absolutely nothing. But I love that I can have. You guys don't understand that I'm so happy that I could literally that I can put a tinfoil hat on and I can come on this show and talk nonsense about getting Brian Burns onto this roster. I'm living my best life right now. I'm living my best life. I that report that I saw, it wasn't Brian Burns that they listed. They said they would trade anyone but Jeremy Chin. At least that's what, from what I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. And this is where it really got planted into my brain, to be honest with you. But they said Jeremy Chin. They didn't say Brian Burns. They said one player. They said one player, and it was Jeremy Chin. They did not say Brian Burns. At least from that report that came out. So, hey, just saying. Just saying. He said, so this is from David Tepper himself. He said, team owner David Tepper is adamant. This was about the Watson situation. So again, it's not apples to apples, but he did say team owner David Tepper is adamant that Watson is the man that can get Carolina to the promised land. And if he comes and he becomes the most influential figure in the decision, no player is seemingly off limits. So we'll see. Again, I just need the sliver. You give us the sliver of hope, the sliver of opportunity. We smashing it. All right, now let's do percentage chances. Mine was 5%. I said 5% chance this was going to happen. What is the percentage chance that the 49ers somehow in a crazy ass world do they actually trade Jimmy Garoppolo and somehow get Brian Burns in return? What percent chance? I feel like that's pretty accurate. 1.5%, 49%. Oh baby. Oh baby. 0%. Oh, look at this one. 7%, 10%, 0%, 4.2%, 6%. Oh, look at the name. Look at the name. Let's go. We got Brian Burns to SF in here saying it's a 99.9%. If this isn't confirmation, for you, what are we doing? Hendrick says 0. Leland says 5%. James says 2%. Brunel says you smoking that good. That's never gonna happen. We got 5%. 100 equals. Maybe that was the percent. It's supposed to be the percent button. Justin says 15%. So hey, but you're saying there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance, my guy. 5%. 3.14 because I love pot. 60. Detail watching lives at the baseball game. We see you, bruh. 10%. Yeah. So I think we all agree. It's a very unlikely outcome. Extremely unlikely outcome. But guess what? I love to dream. And I'm going to dream. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you give me a platform. This is what happens, you know? See, this is why no one would ever give me a platform to come write or speak for them, because this is what I talk about. That's why I built my own platform. You guys can't do nothing about it. I'm going to talk about it because this is my vibe. I love hypothetical off-season scenarios, man. I love hypothetical off-season scenarios. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. And this is the best. This is my favorite one in a while. Doesn't mean it was it likely the 49ers were going to trade for OBJ? No. Doesn't mean I didn't see it as a range of outcome. Are the 49ers going to get Brian Burns? Probably not. But could it be a range of outcome? Just saying. Could be. Oh, I love it. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm excited to pump our energy into a conversation about something that probably isn't going to happen, but it's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about because, again, hey, the Panthers are looking for a quarterback. The Panthers are looking for a quarterback. There's a specific messaging. There's a specific energy around how the Panthers are handling the conversation around the quarterback, because I believe they're in the same boat with the 49ers, just on the opposite side of it. 49ers have 2 quarterbacks. Panthers have none. Sam Darnold is not the guy. Sam Darnold is not the guy. Hey, I mean, how did you know the 49ers weren't after Deshaun? How do you know? How do you know that they weren't after Deshaun? I'm just saying. You guys don't. There's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes, my guys, that like blow your mind. If you really knew, you'd be like, oh, they did what? Yeah, they did that. So That's why this is being entertained, because based on all the things that I've heard about situation with this regime, again, just to remind you guys, I knew DeForest Buckner was getting traded before he got traded. Just so you guys are aware of that. I knew that when Matt Mayoko put out his, well, maybe DeForest Buckner could get traded. I already knew Defo was getting traded. I already knew that. That was information that I already had. So again, there is a reason. There's a reason I wear this thing. There's a reason I wear this thing. Okay? There's a reason. There's a reason this exists. Because you have to have it. Because you have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. So, anyways, that was a fun conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. What do you guys want to talk about? We don't have to talk about Brian Burns anymore and the 0.4% chance that it would actually happen. What do you guys want to talk about? What's the reliability of the tinfoil hat? Well, I said OBJ was going to get traded when everyone yelled at me for saying that. So, and he got traded. So, got that one right. What was the other good one that I said Mac Jones was not going to be the pick at 3 when Adam Schefter went live, or no, when Adam Schefter tweeted that. I literally saw the tweet and went live and said Mac Jones is not going to be the pick at 3. So it's pretty damn reliable. The tinfoil hat is a thing because it's reliable. We call them all reliable for a reason. Tinfoil hat works. Tinfoil hat works. Oh, let's go. Shout out. If you subscribed off our hypothetical conversation about Brian Burns, we salute you. I'm liking you. I think we're going to have a good relationship. If you're subscribing off our tinfoil hat theories, oh, you're going to fit in really well here. You're going to fit in very, very well here. You're going to fit in very well here. Justin says, did you see the report that said New York was looking to trade one of their firsts for a 2023 first? Why? Like a pick swap? The pick swap? I don't know about that. I like this one. Tinfoil hat theories? Question mark. Facts. Tinfoil hat facts. Agreed. Brunio says, Brad, do you believe the report from Jeremy Fowler that Trey Lance has been reassured that he will start the 2022 season? Sure, but that means nothing. That means nothing. You want to know how I you want to know how I kind of mess with this concept? I'll show you how I mess with this report and this concept and how we can kind of conceptualize it and why we wear this and why we don't take it off. This is why. I'll show you exactly why. If you read the caption of this post, it says, I have the full impression that I will be having a nice steak dinner tonight. Well, that's a weird caption. Why would he say that? Why would he say, I have a full impression that I will be having a nice steak dinner tonight? That's a weird comment, right? It's kind of weird thing to say, is it not? Maybe, right? Because if you guys remember, I remember Global just posted the quote. Trey Lance has gotten the full impression behind the scenes that he will start in 2022. Okay. I had the full impression that I was going to have a steak dinner last night. I had the full impression that I was going to have a steak dinner night. But guess what? There were some developments. There were some developments that were had last night, even though I had the full impression. Even though I had the full impression that I was going to have a steak dinner last night, there were some developments. I ended up getting barbecue, not steak. I had barbecue. There were some developments. So I'm just saying, I can be reassured a lot of things. I can be assured that I have a beautiful beard. I could be assured that I'm good at podcasting. I could be reassured of a lot of things. Doesn't mean any of it's true. Again, when it comes to reports and the way people talk about players, especially players that could be assets, get definitive language. Get definitive language. Full impression, reassured. That means nothing to me. Literally means nothing to me. So, again, just wanted to showcase. I'm sure it's a little confusing, but am I saying Trey will be traded? No, that's not at all what I'm saying. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's no assurance to anything. We were assured Jimmy Garoppolo would be off the roster by now. We were assured that we've been assured a lot of things. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't trust no one. I don't trust no one. So reassurances, that's cool. That's a cool story. It's a great story. That's cool. That's awesome. But is he going to be the starting quarterback next year? Just saying. Someone said, where'd I get that food from? I got that from Sauced. I got that from Sauced in Livermore. Fire. So good. Jag says, I love your passion for BB. When I look edge rushers in this year's draft, there are some players that remind me of BB. McCain, Sanders. So Javon taught me how to say this name, and I'm still going to mess it up. God, how did he say it? He said, Inagber. See, I can't even say. JJ. He called him JJ, so I'm gonna call Kingsley JJ. If you want to see kind of a Brian Burns clone, in my opinion, you should look up Western Kentucky edge D'Angelo Malone. If you want to see kind of a clone, go check out Western Kentucky University edge D'Angelo Malone. He's very similar. Very similar. I don't think he's to the quality that Brian was coming out of Florida State. However, he's very similar trait type prospect. Extremely fluid movement skills. D'Angelo is a former wide receiver, transitioned to defensive end. The moves that this man throws, again, I've posted this clip many times. Trevor Penning, UNI, offensive tackle, regarded as one of the meanest, toughest, best offensive linemen in this class. You go back to the Senior Bowl, you have D'Angelo Malone hitting Trevor Penning with speed to power and completely bull rushing. Completely bull rushing that man. So very similar. D'Angelo Malone is the one that I like to find that Brian Burns comparison. The crazy length and athletic skill set with the length, with speed moves, speed to power, counters, swims, chops, rips, all of it. All of it. How do I afford to live in the Bay? Your guys' super chats. So shout out every single one of you who helps support the channel, likes my videos, hit subscribe, send super chats. You guys are helping me pay this insanely disgusting rent costs here in the Bay because it's disgusting. I hate it here. It's gross. It's gross, man. I envy all of you that don't have to pay Bay Area prices because it's insane. Like it's legitimately just insane. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, I could move to Tech. Hey, I'm looking. Oh, I'm looking for that next spot. Trust me. We're looking for that next spot. We're doing everything we need to do. I'm trying to find that spot. It's coming. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. I like that. I'll move to Hawaii. But yeah, man. It's expensive out here. It's no joke. It's sadly like it's just a sad experience. To how much you like really have to pay to live. Like, come on, bro. That's a different podcast though. That's definitely a different podcast. All right. What else we want to talk about? It's Friday, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. I hope you guys are maybe at work, you're just getting done with work. Maybe you're driving home from work. Maybe you're still working. But hey, man, it's Friday. You're going to have the ability to vibe out for a couple days, hopefully. Break down my tape. Oh, my tape sucks, man. I would not want to do that. You may turn me into tomato again. My tape is mediocre. Mediocre at best. Realistic expectation. That's a good. Okay, let's do that. Let's say the Panthers are interested. Let's say the Panthers are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, but they're not going to get Brian Burns, sadly. Okay, in this scenario. Oh, do a breakdown on Brian Burns? Ooh, don't tempt me with a good time. Do not tempt me with a good time because I will, and we'll get real excited here. Don't tempt me with a good time. Do not tempt me to break down some BB. Oh goodness. I would do that for sure. I might actually do it. I might do it. I don't know. I don't need an excuse to pull up some BB tape. That's rated R. That's some rated R stuff. But realistic expectations, Jimmy for CMC, I don't see that. I don't think I would honestly potentially see a scenario where I don't know. Maybe the Panthers would be more inclined to trade CMC at this point based on the injury history, how much money they paid him. But again, he carries a huge number that I don't know if the 49ers would want to take that on. I would love to have CMC on this team. Oh my gosh. Can you if you could add Christian McCaffrey with Kyle Shanahan, that would be nuts. Especially a healthy CMC. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't be mad at it. If they were like Jimmy for CMC straight up, I'd be like, you clear Jimmy off our books. Clearly, I think it's kind of a wash. You clear Jimmy's money, but you add CMC's money, so you're not really netting anything from like cap relief scenario, but you are adding, potentially top 2 running back if he stays healthy. So, but I don't know. I think he's too expensive. I think the cap hit it makes it like a cost prohibitive move where you're just it's the same. You have the same problem. You have a player who has a hard time staying healthy, and he carries a huge cap hit. I don't think that's what they want. Oh, you guys are trying to so this clearly Ty follows me and has followed me through this draft process. Clearly he knows Terry McLaurin is a draft crush. Clearly he knows CeeDee Lamb was a draft crush and Brian Burns was a draft crush. He knows. Let's go. What's up, Cynthia? She said, I enjoy your show. I'm still working. Keep on working, Cynthia. I appreciate you tapping in while at work. I really, really do. Shout out to Super Chat too, by the way. I'm glad you like the show. That makes me feel good. I'm glad you like it. And we got the sourdough sisters in here. We don't get to talk about the sourdough sisters too often. But shout out all my sourdough sisters out there. Again, it's not all these just testosterone filled males, ingesting 49ers content. We got the sourdough sisters out there too. Oh, new subscriber. Again, if you're subscribing off the tinfoil hat theories, you're gonna fit in fantastic around here. Welcome to the squad. My guy. Appreciate you. Shout out Cynthia. Hopefully the day's almost done for you. So this is the thing. Like, it just feels like the 49ers are in a very desperate spot with Jimmy Garoppolo. Feels like the Panthers are in a very desperate spot with their situation. Again, I think everyone is vying for a job right now, and I think they all kind of recognize if they go into this year with Sam Darnold as the quarterback, they're going to get fired. So I think there's some desperation that comes along with that. Now, if this guy if he keeps Jimmy Garoppolo for another year, I don't think he's going to get fired. Now, the fans might not like it. I won't like it. Everyone will hate it, to be honest. But if this man keeps Jimmy Garoppolo, is he going to get fired? No, probably not. If the Panthers don't get another quarterback that isn't Sam Darnold, everyone's getting fired. And that's the point. If everyone's getting fired and a new regime comes in, maybe that new regime doesn't pay Brian Burns to an extension. Maybe a new GM comes in. He's got completely different plans. They run a completely different defense. They're just like, oh, yeah, Brian Burns is great, but we're not going to pay him. Never say never. Never say never. You got to look at the other situations in regards to how this stuff works. This guy ain't going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. You look at the Panthers. They need a winner. They need to win. They have to win. They have to. It's not an option. If they don't win, everyone's fired. Everyone's moving to a new city. They don't want that. So, Ray says the Panthers are not getting interest from QBs in this draft. Carolina is a horrible spot. The Panthers owner is impatient, and that is where this all lies. I want to take advantage of that. I do. I want to take advantage of their misfortune. I do. So, hey, that's where these thought processes come from. Again, it's just a sliver, but it's enough. Shout out Joyce. Shouting out Cynthia. We got our sourdough sisters in the building. Shout out Joyce. We see Joyce in here all the time. Shout out Joyce. Oh, I like this question. Good question, Sean. Good question. Good question. Brad, for an offensive lineman coming out of college, what is the hardest thing to adjust to in the NFL? The defensive lineman's speed, power, technique, or overall scheme? I'm going to say technique. I would say the hardest thing for an offensive lineman to adjust to in the NFL is technique. Not only it's the technique, but kind of like what we talked about with Javon. When you study tape, like he talked about with Eric Armstead knows everything that the offense is going to do. Eric Armstead can tell, like, hey, based on this alignment, based on the formations, based on what I've seen on tape, this is the likely outcome of what they're going to be executing. And so you take that information and then you set up offensive linemen. I use this example. A perfect example for this concept is Kenny Clark versus Alex Mack week 3 in Green Bay. Remember how everyone was coming down Alex Mack's road? Oh, he's terrible because he got beat on 2 plays. He got beat on 2 plays. One was the first play of the game. One was the first play of the second half. The reason why Alex Mack got beat on those 2 plays was because of Kenny Clark, not because of Alex Mack. The reason why Alex Mack got beat is because Kenny Clark knew what was coming, and he used what Mack was going to do against him. How do you win in those situations? How are you successful? When the defensive tackle's lined up on an outside shade, he knows that you're going to try and reach block him. So what does he do? That means that offensive lineman has to take an aggressive step to be able to reach. What did Clark do? He took a step to the inside. So Mack is trying to reach, Clark counters. And they went like this. And everyone's like, oh, Alex Mack, trash. Like, do you even know how he got beat? He got beat by Clark. Clark's one of the best interior defensive tackles in the game, and why he got beat was because of the mental side of it. It had nothing to do with physical. He got beat twice on those 2 particular plays. They were both outside zone plays where Mack had to reach. He hit him with a great counter on the first play because he knew it was coming. And then on that first play of the second half, He hit him with a counter off that move that he did, and Mac was trying to. So he got Mac twisted up, put his head into a pretzel because he didn't know what he was going to do. That's the game within the game. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part about being an offensive lineman moving to the NFL. It's the technique, it's the games. Speed and power, those are going to be there in college. You're going to come across freaks in college. What takes it to the next level is when you can combine the speed and power with the technique and the games. If you take the speed and you add it with the games, it's a wrap. So that's what's really hard, I think, for offensive linemen is when you're in college, you're playing against a lot of speed and power. You're not playing against a lot of technically driven, forward thinking film study type of guys. Again, Javon said it himself. He's like, I didn't know how to play football until I got to the 49ers. That's pretty eye-opening for a first-round draft pick to say that. I didn't know how to really play football or watch football or do this until I was in the NFL. So I think, in my opinion, that's what it is. Good question. I like that question. That's a good question. Everyone mad at Dick Tracy. That's funny. That's funny. My thing with Dick Tracy, if he's not trolling me, I don't have what I think he realized, like, so what he does is he shoots me compliments. Dick Tracy figured it out. He shoots me compliments and then he trolls people in the chat. It's kind of funny. But like I said, like, I mean, if you're not like being a D head to me, like, I don't care. Like, you want to have fun with some of the people in the chat? I don't mind it. Yeah, that's the thing. He shoots me compliments. He figured it out. He's like, if I shoot Brad compliments, I can still troll the chat. He figured it out. So he might be smarter than we give him credit for. He said, "Why do you fall for it?" I don't know. I don't know why I do. He said, "Do better." Hey, let's do a vote. Let's do a vote. We're a democracy here. You guys want to kick Dick? Drop it in the chat if you really don't like him that much. And if he makes the experience in the chat not good, let me know. We're a democracy around these parts. Jason. That's funny too, because Jason is one of the more level-head people around here. Jason's one of the more level-headed people around here too. So that's hilarious. He said it with his whole chest. He said it with his whole chest. Yeah, everyone's like, nah. Kick Dick. All right. It might happen. It clearly the SDS isn't vibing, so it might happen. Yeah, clearly the mod squad doesn't like Dick too much. Dick Tracy's been causing a ruckus, apparently. We'll do this. Next time, next time he comes in here, I'm gonna lay it to him straight. I'm gonna lay it to him straight. So you have one more chance. If it doesn't work, we're gonna have to hit the ejecto seat, cuz I think we'll give him one more chance. Bro, I don't pause. We move. Oh, I missed this one. Holy crap. I totally forgot about this. If Jimmy goes to the Panthers, what happens with Sam Darnold? Can't keep both. What do you guys think? Again, this isn't based on him giving me compliments. It's based on his continuity in the chat. Again, I'm not paying attention to that the way he trolls. So this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. Let me get back to the question. If Jimmy goes to the Panthers, I don't think they care, man. I don't think they care because, again, just like I've been saying, Sam Darnold is a bust. I said this pre-draft. I'm telling you, my hits on draft prospects for being good, I can make the argument that my bust radar is even better. Like my ability to be like, that dude's a bust. That dude is not going to be successful in the NFL. I am on point. Just saying, man. Not only can I identify guys who are going to be good, I can identify guys who are going to be bad. Sam Darnold, the number 1 overall draft pick heading into his draft class, according to every media outlet, I said, no. Sam Darnold doesn't have this part. So one of the things that I talked about with Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold might have one of the most talented arms in the NFL in regards to throwing off platform, throwing on the move, throwing from within the pocket, throwing layered throws, throwing deep, throwing across the middle, throwing short to intermediate. Sam Darnold can make every single throw with his arm. That's why people like Sam Darnold. But again, the reason why I felt so confidently that he was going to be a bust was because I had the opportunity to watch Sam Darnold play live. I watched him against Cal. And Cal wasn't that great. They weren't. They didn't have star athletes running like, future, first, second, third, fourth, fifth round draft picks running around on their defense. They didn't. Oh, it's Cal. Cal has been able to recruit since Tedford left. So when I watched Sam Darnold play in person, those throws where you're like, ooh, wow, ooh, ah, like you saw those, like where you see I had this perfect view of like what he was looking at, and you could see there was a linebacker sitting in the zone. He identified the zone, and you see him start to start his windup with the wide receiver on the opposite side of the linebacker, and he cleared behind the linebacker, and it was just like a perfect timing. He has a perfect read. He was able to hit it with anticipation. I was like, oh, that's what everyone's talking about. Like that was a really good throw. But then he proceeded to go make 3 of the dumbest decisions I have ever seen. Dumbest decision, like based on the timing of the game, he allowed Cal to come back into that game single-handedly. Allowed Cal to come back. They won USC, but he allowed Cal to come back into that game. And I'm watching this dude play, and I'm like, no. I was like, he's not smart up here. He's got great arm talent. But up here, I was like, oh, that's scary. And what happened to him? He goes to the Jets. Oh, it's Adam Gase. I'm seeing go. He can't see the field. He can't process. Not only can't he process, he's not a leader of men. So, yes, can he throw very well? Yes, he can. But he doesn't have the other intangible qualities needed to be a franchise quarterback unless he lands in a spot that can build up his mental, that can build up his confidence, because he already had processing issues in college. And guess what? Those aren't going to go away overnight just because you land in the NFL. If anything, it's going to come to the surface more, and that's exactly what happened with Darnold. He's just, from a mental side of things, he's toast. Absolutely toast. So I don't know if anyone wants him, man. I don't know if anyone wants him. I don't know what they do. I don't think the 49ers would want him. But maybe they do. They tried to trade for Sam Darnold last year. So maybe they would get cute and bring Sam Darnold in. God, I hope not. So, hey. It is what it is, man. I don't know what they would do with him, but I don't want him. Don't kick him back to the 49ers. Please do not do that. Do not kick Sam Darnold back to me. I would be very upset by that. I feel like that would be terrible. That would be terrible. No, Sudfeld. No, man. Sudfeld's sitting on guaranteed $2 million. It's Sudfeld season, baby. Not Sammy. You know how much money Sam's getting? No. No, man. It'd be terrible. Again, he's not a good quarterback, and he takes up money. So, no. Because right now, as it sits, the 49ers have approximately $27 million put into quarterbacks that are not named Trey Lance. That's not a good situation to be in. It's not a great situation to be in when you have $27 million invested into 2 guys that aren't going to see the field for you. I agree with this 100%. I would take Jimmy Garoppolo night and day over Sam Darnold. Night and day. Like 100 times out of 100 times. I don't think Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. I think he has there's an intangible to his game that can't be fixed. That's how I see it. There's an intangible to his game that you can't correct. You can't correct processing. Like, you either have it or you don't at a certain level. I saw he didn't have it in college. What makes me think he's going to have it in the NFL? He doesn't have it. You have what you have and you are what you aren't. He's got a really good arm, but he's a really bad processor. So when you take a really talented quarterback who can't process the field, it's useless. It's like, I don't have a good analogy for it, but it's just like it's not good. Sudfeld. People sleeping on Sudfeld. Cap says, only reason Brad not in the NFL because he never had a quarterback was Sam Darnold's arm. Snub. Oh, man. Snub. He did. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I called him a bust. I called him a bust because I saw it in college. I saw it with my own eyeballs in real life, in real time. I was excited to go see him because I'm like, hey, we're going to get to see potentially the number 1 overall pick. And I want to watch him. That's why I went to the Cal USC game. Brought my son with me. It's a great time. It was his first football game. But what did I see? I saw that Sam Darnold couldn't see. So, hey, I don't like it. Not a fan. I wouldn't want Darnold around these parts. I was very adamant about that last year. Continues. Let's see. Ooh. I would take David Ojabu if I wasn't on the 49ers, if that makes sense. I think the 49ers have expended as much capital as they can into high value injury prospects. I don't think they can do it anymore. I don't think they have the luxury. They talked about it last year. They talked about how typically, like, guys that they would maybe kind of, be like, he has injury history, but we'll take the chance. They've said, take it for what it's worth, but they have said that we aren't doing that anymore. So with him and his recent injury on this team, they can't afford to have another wasted pick. They just can't. So knowing that you're grabbing a guy that won't contribute, next year, I don't think it makes sense, because think about, they took Kentavious Street in the 4th round. He had a 2-year redshirt. He redshirted for 2 years. And when he came back, he was a good player. They didn't even re-sign him. He went to the Saints. That's a 4th round pick. Spent on a guy he got a couple seasons out of. Spent most of his career rehabbing with the team. And when he got in, he was nothing more than a rotational guy. It's we don't got that time anymore. We need guys that can be an impact. I think David is going to be good, but I think the 49ers have expanded all they can into injury prospects. I wouldn't be something that I would like to see at all. Oh my gosh, could you guys imagine this? Could you imagine we live in this world? Could you imagine? So Fabian says Jimmy G will beat out Trey in preseason. and OTAs if he's still there when preseason begins. But no one wants to hear that because they want to see what ifs. Fabian, if Jimmy Garoppolo is on the roster into training camp, Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback. 100%. Like, it's not even a debate. You don't pay a guy $25 million to be a backup. This is not how it works. This league is a business. This league is a business. And if you're going to carry someone on your roster getting $25 million guaranteed, he is not going to be a backup. And that's just the money aspect of it. Do you think this locker room would be like, oh, Jimmy's back, but you know what? This time around, Jimmy, we're moving to Trey. Like, if Jimmy Garoppolo is on this roster in 49ers pads and a jersey and has a helmet and is walking out to training camp in August, he is the starting quarterback. That's just what it is. He's the starting quarterback. So that's why he can't be on the roster in training camp. He can't. This is, if you really, and speaking from the 49ers organizational standpoint, if your mindset is Trey's our quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo can be nowhere near your roster. Trey already unfollowed Jimmy. Trey already unfollowed this man. Trey Lance was like, I've had enough. My best friend, the best friend that I'll have for years, boop, he already unfollowed Jimmy Garoppolo on Instagram. So, no. Is Trey going to refollow Jimmy Garoppolo? Is he, oh, here comes Jimmy again. Good. Oh, I can't wait to go through this for one more year. I got to refollow him now. No one wants this. If this occurs, then again, I'm wearing the man's shirt. I love Kyle. If Jimmy Garoppolo is on this roster in the training camp, I don't know if Kyle makes it. I don't know if Kyle makes it. The entire world would be at his doorstep asking for him to be fired. Do you want that? Do you want that smoke? I don't know. I don't know if you want that smoke. I don't know if you want that smoke. I wouldn't personally. Like, it just feels like a death sentence. It feels like a death sentence. It's not just fans either. Podcasters. Oh, it's not just podcasters. Do you remember how much smoke Mina Kimes got for talking about Jimmy Garoppolo? Remember how much smoke Dan Orlovsky has gotten talking about Jimmy Garoppolo? You know how much smoke Clark has gotten talking about Jimmy Garoppolo at ESPN, at these major networks? If Kyle brings back Jimmy Garoppolo and you make these media outlets have to talk about Jimmy versus Trey for another year and have to deal with Jimmy fans versus Trey fans for another year, you don't want that smoke. I promise you. You don't. Because it will be deafening. It will be deafening. I don't want that. That would be the last thing that I would wish on my franchise. Because we understand how it works. Media is narrative driven, and it's narrative driven because people eat up narratives. There's a reason why it works. It's a proven formula. It's a proven formula, man. So what narrative you think they're going to choose? Just saying, that would be the worst. That would be the worst. That would suck. I don't want to even think about it. And again, I like Jimmy. I have nothing against Jimmy. I think Jimmy's going to be more successful wherever if he can go to a good spot. I really believe if Jimmy goes to a good spot, because I don't think Kyle and Jimmy have gotten along for a while now. And I believe if Jimmy Garoppolo lands with a coach that believes in him and builds a scheme that I think fits more of Jimmy Garoppolo's skill set than kind of like what Kyle, which I'm not going to say Kyle didn't do that, but I'm just saying I don't think Kyle believed in him. And I think he could sense that clearly. And I think that has a direct impact on how you play from a coaching standpoint. So I really do believe Jimmy Garoppolo, if he lands in a spot, Panthers might not be that spot where he plays better. But let's say like somehow Garoppolo landed on the Texans. That's might still be a bad spot. But I know Casario likes him. Or he just lands with the coach that's going to build him up and put him in a position to be successful. I think he'll be better than what we've seen. I think he will perform at a much different level. I think, I think we watched Jimmy last year play to not make mistakes. And if you're a coach, if I'm a coach, if my player is playing not to make mistakes, I failed him. If he's so scared of my reaction to mistakes and he's playing not to make mistakes, then I have failed as a coach. Because I'm not giving him the confidence. I'm not giving him what he needs to be successful. Because he's now afraid that if he makes a mistake, I'm going to come chew his ass. And that's not a good dynamic to be in. It's not good for growth. It's not the best. Coach says, relax, guys. If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't get traded, he's getting cut for two reasons: Debo and Nick. We still need room to resign both. JG's money is what kills him. Yeah, and I think, too, to continue that conversation forward, is the reason why he is still here is because he has that $7.5 million guaranteed. Because of the injury situation, because of the guarantees that have kicked in, he's got $7.5 million coming his way if the 49ers cut him. So they don't want that either. They want to move that. They want to trade not only the money off the books, but they don't want to. That's $7.5 million that goes against the cap. That's not good. That's not good at all. So they want to trade him. They need to trade him. Because getting cut, that clears about 18 million. Then they have 18 million. He still eats up 7.5 in cap. So I don't think they want to cut him. And knowing what I know about how this team kind of works with money, I don't think that's enough. I think there's still too much. Again, it's the thought process of completely failing on a trade with an asset, not being able to trade a starting quarterback. The failure in doing that, the perception of not being able to do that, on top of having to eat $7.5 million. It's a lot of negatives in cutting him from a perception standpoint. So we know this is an ego-driven league. It's an ego-driven league. And that's a shot to the ego. That's a shot to the ego. If you can't get assets in return and have to eat $7.5 million. Ooh. Ooh. Now fans will be excited because they're done with the conversation. But when you talk about bad business, that's bad business. That's bad business. Not getting an asset for an asset that has value and paying $7.5 million towards that. That just, it's like a double negative. So that's why I think we're waiting and seeing. I would have to disagree a little bit, Coach. I for those reasons. Now it could come to a situation where push comes to shove and they're like, we don't care about perception. We have to not care about that 7.5 million, and we just whatever. That could happen. But God, I just hope it doesn't. I hope they get something. I hope they get something. I hope they clear that money because we might want that now, but just wait until the commentary comes out if they were to do that, because the commentary that will come out was they botched this. They didn't do good here. They just completely screwed this. Like, that's what the narrative is if he gets cut. If he gets traded, it's a celebration. It's like, oh my gosh, they got something in return for Jimmy. Like, we don't care. It's a 7th round pick. We got him off. We got that 7.5 cleared. It's a celebration if they get anything in return and clear the money. If they don't do that and they have to cut them, oh, the Mike Florios, they're going to roast the 49ers, bro. They're going to roast the 49ers. So it's a weird situation, man. It's a weird situation. I can't say, I've seen some crazy stuff go down in the NFL in my time. Again, I was someone who said, the Giants are trading OBJ when everyone was like, oh no. When literally OBJ, they announced his extension, I was like, oh yeah, they're still gonna trade him. What did they? Oh, look at the dead cap money. Look at the dead hit that they would take. They would never do that, and that's what they did. So I don't know, man. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. I don't have any like real analysis. Like we're just at the point like where it's Friday and I talked about Brian Burns getting traded to the 49ers, and with the likely outcome of that happening being like 0.53%. I'm not going to lie, I did not even mean to say 0.53 and Brian Burns' number is 5.3. I feel like that's some universe stuff right there. We're still manifesting it. I'm just saying, I didn't 0.53. I just my mind came up with a random number and it happened to come up with 0.53. It's happening. It's happening. I'm telling you. It's happening. That was completely like I didn't even try to do that. That was just literally that was random. And it ended up being 0.53. So we're giving it a 0.53% chance that Brian Burns actually does come to the 49ers. But that's where we're at. That's the part of this ridiculous situation where I can come on a Friday and throw out a hypothetical trade situation that probably has almost zero to none ability to occur. However, I'm at the point where I'm just trying to will it to happen. Just trying to put that energy out into the universe and believe it will happen. Oh, God. It's fun being a 49er fan, guys. Don't let them tell you otherwise. So, I'm having fun with the topic. I think it's fun. I think there is a very tiny possibility it could happen, but that's all you need in the NFL. That's all you need. Is the tiny possibility. So we'll see. Could 49ers could Burns expect a contract? He's the same class as Bosa. I don't know if you would necessarily have to expect it at this point. I would much rather see Burns play out on year 4, extend Bosa now so you can figure it out and budget Burns in later. Or if you can't budget it in, use him as a rental for a year, and that's it. Brian Brian Burns' brother going live right now. I'm gonna tell him right now. BB. Oh, he's on a. He's not gonna be able to see this. BB to SF right now. Burns' brother just went live right now. I dropped into the chat. BB to SF, baby. They're gonna be sick of me, man. I love it. I love it. So good. All right. Debo Samuel is a generational talent. Do you think SF would trade him? Honestly, I think they would trade anyone. I think they would trade anyone. If the deal was right and the money worked out, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone's off limits. Um, I don't think anyone's off limits. So to answer your question, like, do I think they're like actively trading him? No. Like, do I think they're like trying to like get deals done with Debo and other teams? No. But if push came to shove, yeah, I think they would trade Debo. I think they would. I think they've proven that. Again, I know things that you guys don't know, and I don't feel comfortable saying those things because that's not my place. But the things that I do know, um, that they would make me lend to believe that, yeah, anyone can be had on this team right now. Anyone. If the money works and the compensation's right, yeah, I think anything can happen. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned from covering this team is anything can happen. Anything. Any player that you think is untouchable is not untouchable. We all would have said DeForest Buckner was untouchable. I'm not going to list any other names, but we know Defo got traded. We know that actually happened. But I'm just saying, like, Joe Staley said that. Joe Staley said that. Like, Joe Staley was in the locker room. He was like, I was the leader, and I was passing the torch to Defo, and they traded Defo. Like, and he was shocked. Like, if that is a reality, anything is a reality. So I'm just saying, anyone can be traded. I don't think there's I don't think there is I don't think there's any untouchables. I don't. Uh, I wouldn't like this personally. I wouldn't like this. Um, I don't think it would work from a cap standpoint. because if you remember, they just like converted some of his money uh, kind of into guaranteed and kind of pushed it out. So I actually think the restructuring they did with Kittle actually bought Kittle another year. So, I'm terrified of the 49ers trading Kittle. But I also think the way they restructured him and kind of pushed money out, I think it bought him another like legitimate like this year. I think he would have been fine. If you would have asked me in 2023, would you be surprised if they traded Kittle? I would say no. But I think the way they move the money, it makes 2023 more locked in. So I think Kittle's here to stay for a while. I mean, that's my hope. That's my hope. That's my hope. I don't think he's gonna go. I don't. Why would you want Kittle to go for the right price though? Why would you want that as a fan of the team? Why would you want a team leader, fan favorite, extremely important piece to the offense, a focal point of the running game? Again, it's not he can't throw himself the ball. He can't scheme himself open. That's not on him. Fans need to lose that perception of like, oh, he's just a blocker. That's how he's used within the scheme. That's not on him. That's not on him. He can't throw himself the ball. He can't make sure that he gets the ball when it's supposed to be getting to him. He can't scheme himself open. Like he had that there are functions to his game that he has no control over. So his importance to the run game, the 49ers lost. The 49ers lost week 5 against Arizona because Kittle didn't play. They lost. You can go to the tape. You can watch Ross Dwelly, and every missed block he had, Kittle would have made those blocks and they would have translated to touchdowns. And that would have been the difference in the game. We've seen what it looks like without George Kittle. It is not pretty. But when you add George Kittle into the mix, it opens everything up because defenses have to key on him. Safeties have to key on him. Linebackers have to key on him. And then when you use him in the run game and the type of movement and the way that they use him, he becomes the focal point of the run game. And then when you start using play action off that, when you start doing leaks off that, that's when he becomes a threat. But they have to do that. If they just keep running the football, it's not his fault they're not throwing it. But is Kittle the only good tight end? Yes. Is there never going to be another Kittle? I mean, you tell me. What other tight end blocks and catches like Kittle? Gronk? Okay. Arguably the best tight end to ever play. Who else? Waller? No. Waller doesn't block. Kelsey? No. Good receiver. I mean, great receiver. He's not used as a focal point in the run game. No, doesn't count. Who else? I'll wait. I'll wait for a long time. Who else? Kelsey's blocking is underrated. I'll say that. Kelsey's blocking is underrated, but it's not comparable to Kittle. Kittle is a focal point in the run game. Kelsey is not the focal point in the run game. Who else? Pitts? Nope. Who else? I'm going to be waiting a long ass time. Who else? Who else? Who? I see no names. Mark Andrews? Okay. Maybe. So far, yeah. I like Mark Andrews. I like him. I liked him coming out of Oklahoma. Mark Andrews is a great tight end. He's a great blocker. He's a great receiver. So far, yeah. Maybe Mark Andrews. Who else? I'll wait all day. It's Friday. It's Friday. I got nothing to talk about. Who else? No one else. You're literally like, oh, TJ Hawkinson, yeah, okay. He has traits that resemble Kittle, but he's not at Kittle's level. But yeah, okay. I can see that. Who else? There's no one else. And this is why the trade Kittle conversation is stupid. Stupid. Ooh, I like this one. I like this one. Dawson Knox. Okay. I like that one. Who else? Better at what? Better at what? Clarify. I love you too. I love you too, man. I'm having fun with this. I'm actually having fun with this topic. But who? Who? What is he better at? Better at what? Being a receiver? According to who? Route running? Is he though? He might be more fluid. He might be more athletic. But Georgia's pretty effective at getting open. When do you ever see George having a problem getting open? Not a lot. Red zone. I mean, the last touchdown that the San Francisco 49ers threw in the last year was to George Kittle in the red zone against the Rams. Is it a function of George to throw passes to himself in the red zone? Or does his quarterback have to throw it to him? Do they have to scheme that open? I'm just saying. They're not used the same. They're not used the same. If you took Kittle and you put him in Waller's role, he would be probably just as successful as a receiver. If you took Waller and you put him in Kittle's role, he would not be a good tight end. If you took Kyle Pitts and you put him in Kittle's role, he would not be a good tight end because they would be used as a focal point in the blocking game. You can't like pick and choose. That's like saying a defensive tackle or like an edge. Oh, he's the best edge in the world because he can rush the passer. I can't talk. Rush the passer. How is he in the run game? Oh, well, he sucks in the run game. He's not going to set an edge. He's not going to. He's on skates in the run game, but pass game, elite. Okay, great, but that's not complete. He's not elite at both. They're elite at one portion of playing the position. And in the position that the way the 49ers use the tight end, he's a focal point of the offense from a run blocking standpoint, which is the main function of a tight end. I know people live in a fantasy world. And when I say fantasy football, where Travis Kelce and the Wallers reign supreme because they make catches, they get touchdowns, and they get yards, and they do all that good stuff that we want to see that's exciting. Playing tight end is about being a blocker. In line, hand in the dirt. double to backer, double to safety. Waller ain't doing. You switch those two and you make Waller do what Kittle does, night and day. Night and day. Night and day, in my opinion. Because it feels like it's not apples to apples comparison when people talk about tight ends. They talk about tight ends in the sense of receiving, and it's like, cool. That's not playing. That's not what being a tight end is. It's part of it. That's like saying, oh, that offensive lineman's really good at run blocking, but ass at pass blocking. Are they good offensive linemen at that point? Are there concerns? Are there questions? Are there liabilities that come along with that? Yes, there are. So, Kittle, if you come at the king, you best not miss. I'm just saying. I haven't seen one viable argument. I haven't seen one thing to convince me one way or the other how Kittle is replaceable. How? How, Sway? How is he replaceable? Who? All the top tight ends you're naming can't replace him. So who? That was the question. That's what was being posed. Oh, you could replace Kittle. How? Jedi. Jedi. Come on. Bro. Oh, man. Trust me, I know Davis. Davis was a receiver first, bro. He was a receiver first. He had to learn how to block, but he was never used like Kittle. I agree with this. I remember that. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Oh, we got who? What smoke you want? Let's go. What smoke you want? Tight end smoke? I hope so. I'll hand out all the tight end smoke ever. I'm still waiting for someone to give me a cat. Like I'm open to information. That's one thing that I'm very crystal clear about. If you give me information, and like wasn't something that I've registered before, I will absolutely take it into account and change an opinion. If you've given me and shown me information that I was basing opinion off that wasn't complete, and you give me some additional information, I'll change my opinion. I have no problems with that. But I'm still waiting, and I will wait until the end of time because you're not this conversation. I will debate anyone. On George Kittle and his importance to this team and why he's irreplaceable for the most part. And when I say for the most part is, players come and go. So we know he will have to be replaced eventually. He will retire one day. Adam is trying to find a way to replace Kittle now. Adam? Peters? Ooh, I like that. So I am trying to figure out. So I do want to do Collins. I'm actively trying to figure this out. I know it's been requested for a long time. Coach gets first shot at it. But I'm trying to figure out so we can do you can subscribe to the like not just subscribe to the channel, but like you can join a group. Like we can do the you can join thing. I think Rob Shu has the sneakerheads. I think Jason has the spicy squad. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that so that when you join up, we'll do call-in shows. We'll do call-in shows. So it's with people that clearly I trust to the channel, that are, invested in the channel, and then we'll do call-in shows based on those people that are in it, because I can bring you guys up on the screen, because if not, I'll have to block your screen. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to do that. And I do want to get you guys calling in. So I am working on that. I'm working on setting that up so that we can then transition to call-ins and we can debate this stuff. Absolutely. I still love you too, Jedi. 100%. I know you've been around here for a long time. I love you too. That was fun. Again, I'll debate you all day on Kittle. We'd be best buds. I'll debate you on Kittle all day. Jerome says Kittle is elite because he stays in on both run and the pass. Defenses have to stay honest. 100%. Kittle being in line, it's the worst nightmare. Especially how they started using him across the formation last year. Again, that's why it's just like people don't see it that way. People don't understand how Mike McDaniel used Kittle as a chess piece, the focal point of the offense, to get linebackers flowing in one way, because you have to respect whenever Kittle moves across the formation that you see the defense flow with him. What does Kyle do? I'm going to get everyone flowing this way. I'm going to cut back the other way. That's how Kyle's offense works. So you take away Kittle, you take away Juszczyk, you have no Kyle Shanahan offense. That's why they're so important. And people just like, well, they're replaceable. Like, no, they're not. Not replaceable. Hey, I appreciate you, Johnny. I appreciate you, Johnny. Ooh, the bread hotline. That's fire. Mod Squad call-in show. It's about to be lit. Yeah, it's kind of like a Patreon. I'm figuring it out right now. I know YouTube offers it. YouTube offers it's like a subscription model, but the cool thing about the subscription model is that it's like you're automatically it's proving that I can trust you to bring on, versus just some random troll who's trying to get on and be a troll. Yeah, it's not like a crazy amount or anything. It's just like a Patreon. As someone said, it's like a Twitch subscription, but it allows me to kind of, funnel some people out. Oh, Mod Squad Roundtable. I would set that up for you guys, bro. I would set that up for you guys. I wouldn't even be a part of it. I would just, you guys hop on the channel. Oh, look who it is. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Come here. Wear your shirt.
No.
No shirt? You want to say hi? Oh, come here. Oh! You say hi to the people? Oh, you scared?
No.
You scared? Say hi. You just wake up on your nap? Yeah. You show them your ball? Oh. Let's go. He's shy. I've never seen you shy before. You say hi?
Yeah.
Oh, he's shy. He's shy.
Hey, hey.
Yeah. You say hello.
Hmm?
Okay. Can you say go 49ers? Go 49ers. Close. What's that? Ball. This kid sleeps with footballs, baseballs, basketballs. He found a bat today. He found a bat and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep with that bat. This dude's gonna be. I'm telling you, hey, get this man's on your scouting reports early, because this dude lives, eats, sleeps, literally sports, and it's all on him. I haven't even. Again, I just do my thing. This dude, I'm just saying, put him on your scouting reports early. That 2050 draft about to be litty. Just saying. But I think clearly the time has come. I could debate you guys on George Kittle for literally the rest of my life. Right? George Kittle. Yeah. 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 I agree. Remember, we always block though. Blocking matters. It's cool to catch the football. It's cool to score touchdowns. It's cool to do all that, but we gotta block, right? We gotta put effort in the blocking game. Got to make sure hand placement's good, wide base, balance, right? Yeah. I appreciate all you guys hopping on with me. It's always a blast. Again, today was a fun one because all I talked about pretty much were hypotheticals. And if anytime I get to talk hypothetical Brian Burns situations, I'm having a good time. Oh, what are you doing? Yeah, you're crazy. All right. Shout out everyone. I appreciate you guys as always. Sourdough Squad, vibing with your boy, talking all things football. You already know. So barring, oh yes, keep an eye out for this. This might drop on IG soon. So we might drop some Poke Niners on IG. But you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Smash that like button if you haven't already. You ready to go? Go? Me too. Okay. We'll see you guys later. Smash that like button. Hit that sub. I won't be seeing you guys until Monday unless something happens. Unless Brian Burns gets traded to the Niners. You say BB? You say BB? You go like that. How old are you? There you go. You're already doing it. All right. So until anything happens crazy, I will see you guys on Monday. You guys have a great weekend. You say bye? Bye. Say bye. Okay. See you later. Peace.